wrote that, you said?
Yes, I did.
Oh,
Yes,
so
very nice.
beautiful. Thank you.
Yes.
I mean, that's everything I'm saying today. And everything we've been talking about all month. So what a...
Spiritual thing.
It's a spiritual thing. There's no coincidences. So thank you. So welcome again, everyone. So happy to see you. So the monthly theme in the Centers for Spiritual Living has been on the wings of love. And my topic today is a call to love. So last week I talked about love's ascent into peace. And are we willing to let go of being stuck on the notion that something's wrong? And instead be curious and willing to open to another possibility, to bring peace to a situation. Not denying there's not something like a mess, but looking at it in a different way. You know, the great Albert Einstein, one of his most famous quotes says, "You cannot solve a problem with the mind that created it." I know you've heard that before. But think about it. You cannot solve a problem with the same mind that created it, right? This wisdom invites us to reflect on the thoughts and the beliefs that we may be holding that contribute to our own mess, and in our experiences of love in our life. We have to get off the mental merry-go-round sometimes. Have you ever been on the mental merry-go-round? Yeah. So consider what aspects of your mindset may be influencing your current relationships. Are there patterns of thinking that perpetuate negativity, judgment, doubt? Probably, because we're human, right? But are there elements within you that you need to shift? Whether it's letting go of a limiting belief, or embracing vulnerability, or cultivating self-compassion. Recognizing the need for change in perspective is a powerful step toward transformation. And it's a step. By consciously choosing, which is what we talk about here a lot, to change our mindset, to shift it, we open the door to new possibilities and a deeper connection to ourselves, and then to others. Yes? So the Reverend Michael Beckwith said, "There is an appearance world, a world that has condensed itself into form from thoughts, opinions, and points of view rooted in division and separation." Have you noticed? Yeah. But, he says, there is the real world, with a capital R, a world of light, luminosity, and brilliance, rooted in the vibration of let there be life, let there be love, let there be beauty, and let it be everywhere, which is built upon the eternal truth. He said, through the stabilization of your spiritual insights that emerge from your prayer, your meditation, your open heart, your high-minded intention, and spiritual camaraderie with your brothers and sisters, you can consciously live in the real world right now. So can you be willing to be a part of, like a midwife of this great beloved community, and let your heart be open to embrace others? Can you?
Yeah.
So in the science of mind, we often say that God is synonymous with love, because God, infinite intelligence, the great spirit, the Holy One, whatever name you use, is all there is. And love, then, must be all there is. Love with a capital L. Love like I like to think of it as a neon sign. Ernest Holmes said, God is love, and God is law. The love of God is omnipresent, and the law of God is omnipresent. The love of God is the divine givingness, the eternal outpouring to spirit through its creation. outpouring of Spirit. Isn't that exciting? Who we are is who we're meant to be. Each one of us, I believe, was brought into this moment in history, in the communities we were born into, for a divine purpose. We're here on purpose. And when we embrace who we really are, regardless of how the people around us react, we align with our own spiritual truth. Let's affirm, I embrace my divine purpose.
I embrace my divine purpose.
One more time.
I embrace my divine purpose.
So today we're going to look at the state of relationships in our life through the lens of love. So put on your love glasses. And the two primary relationships we have, I want you to think of an equal-armed cross or a plus sign. And first is the vertical relationship that we have with Spirit, or the God of our understanding. And I use the idea of vertical only to illustrate a principle, because it's really about the relationship we have with the divine nature within ourselves. And our teaching here in the Science of Mind, the divine within us is what we call the principle of Christ, or Christ consciousness, which is the light and the love of God within our human soul. So that's the first aspect of this vertical relationship between our human personality and the divine nature within us. And the second kind of relationship, which is more of the horizontal kind, when you're thinking of the plus sign or the cross, and those are the relationships we have with each other. And I would suspect that that's where most of our problems arise. Don't you think? But by the time we come here to a place such as the Foothill Center, we are looking for, or we already have established, some sort of relationship with our own inner divinity and the mighty Spirit that dwells within us. Usually that's what calls people into a place like this, to discover that inner guide. So again, it's usually in the world and in our human relationships where our difficulties arise. And what we need to realize is that both of these relationships, the horizontal and the vertical, are already just fine. In fact, they're perfect. They are. They are absolutely, totally, and completely perfect. And the process of healing is the process of revealing that perfection in all the experiences of our life. It's about releasing all those things we project upon relationships so that they can operate freely through the lens of love. Did you know you already have a relationship with Spirit? The truth is, we've always been one with Spirit. We always will be one with Spirit. There's never a time when we're not. We're never separate. And the only thing that changes over time is our awareness of that oneness and our connection. It just gets deeper through our studies and our practices. But it's never gone. That's good news. So what if our relationship to our Spirit and our relationship to others is already in a state of unity and love? On some level it is. On some level. And that's why we do our spiritual practices. Because over time we come into that fuller and greater awareness of the love and the oneness that we all are. So it's vital to recognize that there's a relationship between the vertical and the horizontal, for better or worse. And that our relationship with the Spirit and our divine nature affects our relationship with others. And our relationship with others affects our relationship to our divine self. You can't change one without changing the other. Do you see that? You can't change one without changing the other. So when we're in conflict or upset with another person, we can call upon the loving spirit within us to bring the healing power forward to that relationship. We don't have to do it by ourselves with our human judgmental mind. And to the degree that we heal those human relationships, then in turn we even have a greater awareness of the power of love in our life. It's a win-win situation. I like knowing that. So Ernest said, the mood of the infinite mind is one of love, period. And the action of intelligence takes place in loving ways. What God hath wrought has been by means of love. And I know sometimes we get off track. I do. So remember, Jesus the Christ, over 2,000 years ago, said that we should love God with all of our heart, which is the vertical relationship, and to love our neighbors as we love ourselves. That's the horizontal relationship. And that is because love is the awareness of oneness and the ultimate state of all of our relationships. When we allow it. So when the vertical and the horizontal relationships are in harmony, in the awareness of the oneness of spirit and with each other, we're then in the expression of love. We are in that consciousness, that mountaintop consciousness of being more accepting for what's showing up. But we have to take responsibility, don't we? That's that R word that people don't like. Responsibility to do our work, to do our spiritual work. I don't think we can afford the luxury of holding a grudge anymore. I don't think we can accuse our neighbors of wrongdoing or ignorance, because we are responsible for healing whatever upset we are experiencing in our life. Because it's usually related to some part of our consciousness that hasn't been fully healed yet. If we learn to live as love in all of our relationships, especially with ourselves, isn't that the greatest opportunity? And I know this can be difficult. I'm the first to admit it. But it can be done. It can be done. To love ourselves, open to a healing, so that we show up differently in life. You know, it's taken me many years and lots of support. And the place where I got that support was right here in this spiritual community. Through the teachings of Ernest Holmes and many others and the Centers for Spiritual Living. I was provided with the inspiration, the education, and the loving support that I needed to learn how to live in process and co-create with spirit within me, to tap into that greater power. And when I reflect on my life then and now, as opposed to when I first came upon these teachings, 30 years ago, I realize I don't have to deal with difficult people in my life anymore. I only have to deal with difficult me. I just have to deal with me. Do you get that? Mm-hmm. Every day. And yet I am willing to take responsibility and deal with the difficult, stubborn me and let those other people off the hook. Bless them. Bless them. I love the work of Byron Katie. Some of you know Byron Katie's work. And she has this little thing she does, which I have used many times. When she has been irritated or frustrated by someone in her life, she silently says, "Oh, honey, you can't irritate me. Only I can do that." Or, "Oh, honey, you can't confuse me. Only I can do that." You see how that works? It gets them off the hook, and it focuses on you, and then you're at choice whether to stay pissed off or move on. Really, really I mentioned this last week. I mean, what if all the difficult people we've known in the past or the present are our teachers? They're simply our teachers. They are the ones that teach us how to forgive, how to love, how to move on. We wrote a sacred covenant at the Foothill Center a few years ago. And one of them, there are a couple things. One was from a biblical quote. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. And Ernest Holmes said, love is the greatest healing and drawing power on earth. And in this covenant, our purpose was, God's the love that I am. Say that with me. God is the love that I am. And you can change that word God for whatever word you resonate with. But just feel that for a moment. God's the love that I am. Claim it. Open your heart to that idea. And our vision in that sacred covenant was we are guided through the power of love and principle. You know, it's a great thing to wake up every morning and just say, I am guided through the power of love and principle today. Bring it on. Why not? Notice how you're setting your intentions for the day. Because I believe each of us is a leader in a loving consciousness if we so choose. And surrendering our resistance to love and let Spirit be the guide in our life, we have to call upon our courage to face our challenges with heart. You know, we're a faith-based community here. Our foundation is faith, faith in a greater good. I don't know about you, but I think we all know, too, we have to heal those horizontal relationships, right? But if you don't have the vertical relationship, it's more difficult. So love itself is calling for a change in our mind and heart. New thought patterns, new processes that bring us to a current experience are the ones that will elevate us to new heights of love and living. So I invite you to take a breath and close your eyes for a moment if it's comfortable. And just drop from your busy thinking mind everything I've talked about and just drop into your feeling heart. Take a deep breath there. That heart chamber. That place of love, faith, devotion, forgiveness, expansion. And breathe a breath of gratitude into that heart. The heart will never lead you wrong, ever. And bring to mind a relationship that you're experiencing right now in your life that you may have difficulty with. Know that you're in a safe place here. You're receptive and open to a possibility of something greater. And just bring this person to mind. And imagine surrounding them, surrounding that relationship with a great love. A love of the divine, a love of your nature, divine nature, a love of God. Imagine surrounding them with light, a thank you, a blessing. You don't have to agree with them. You don't have to condone whatever they did. Simply open your heart to a healing and breathe. And silently say to this relationship, may you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. And may you be happy. all day long, couldn't we? I could. I mentioned before, Edwina Gaines had a great forgiveness exercise she does every night. And she just asks her consciousness, who have I left out of my heart today? And people will just kind of show up in her awareness, and then she just blesses them. It's important for us right now to let go and just keep blessing. And if you can't do it from your logical thinking mind, which most of us can't, then call upon that heart. Call upon your sacred center to do it. That's what namaste means. The divine light within me honors the divine light within you. I, of my human self, can't stand you, but the divine in me loves you. I mean, really. We can never get agreement in the world without the intervention of the divine. Without connecting and surrendering our own spiritual nature to the very truth of our being. And one thing that might hold us back is our criticism. Our criticism in general of ourselves, what's around us, what we attract to us. And what I have noticed is that love changes everything. You know, I've worked and counseled with many people and guided them into a state of love. And they've learned to love that which they hated. And the thing that they hated changed. Just because they were holding a different energy. As Abraham Hicks says, you don't have to know how to make it happen, but you have to make it welcome. And how do you make it welcome? By being in that vibration, that willingness of love. Because when you do that, when you accept that, everything shifts. Everything. That's the law. Love is a magnet. And I know there's so many things we think we can't love, that we need to change, we've got to fix. And what we're reminded of is just love. Call that forth from your inner being and watch what happens. I guarantee you something good will show up. I welcome love into my day.
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 That's a great way to start the day. So what do you need to do? Or how can you show up as love in your life? How can you show up more? Just think about that. Do you need to heal any of those horizontal relationships? And how can you deepen your vertical relationship? You know, the Christian program called What Would Jesus Do? Right? They have a great gift that they give homeless people. Just ask yourself, what would love do here? That's all you have to ask yourself. So when you're in a situation, when you have to respond or react, just pause. What would love do here? What would love say here? You know, maybe don't send that email right away. I know I've done that and regretted that I sent that email so fast. Instead of taking the time to add love to it, compassion. What would love do here? So let's take that into prayer. Take a breath with me as we open to this idea of remembering that love is the truth of who we are. That there's a power for good in the universe and we can use it. And there's a power for good in the universe and it so wants to use us. So I'm grateful this morning to open our consciousness, our heart, our whole being to the divine presence within, around, and through each of us. Let us choose to see with the eyes of compassion this week, to listen with an open heart, and to speak with kindness. Where there is discord, let us bring peace. Where there is fear, let us radiate love. Where there is upset, let us be compassionate. For each of us is guided by the infinite, and love is our path, if we so choose. And so I'm grateful we are here by divine appointment, willing and ready to choose love as our path, our power, and our purpose in this thing called life. How good it is to know that truth. And so I know for each of us, as we step into that mountaintop consciousness, that willingness to let go of the lesser and claim the greater, something wonderful happens in our life and in the life of those around us. Yes. And so we breathe in that love, that healing power for our physical body, mental body, emotional body, spiritual body, being balanced and in harmony with this divine, divine love. Just saying, thank you, God, in me, as me. So we breathe that in, we feel it, we are it, and we give thanks.